Hey everybody, my name's Aaron, and I'm sending in this video in response to Polona's call for all of us to step outside of our bubbles and share what it's like to be on this journey together. So here I am. It's my room. Got beautiful Pacific Northwest forest out there in the United States, and so basically I just wanted to talk about kind of how all this went for me. Essentially, I was just a normal kid growing up, going to school, and I was lucky because I played out in nature all the time. And basically what started happening as I started to get older was that, especially into college and stuff, was there was a lot of mental energy and a lot of people teaching me and telling me what to think. And then I would go out into nature and I would feel this other presence and space and peace out in nature. And I also had a really big disconnect from my with my heart and my head, where my head would be kind of trying to do the normal world thing, and there was something speaking to me deep in my heart. So essentially I started listening to my heart more and more and more, and realized that there was something going on. And I traveled a lot and explored a lot, and eventually certain relationships started coming into my life and people that were already on this path. But really what started to happen, which was really interesting, and maybe this is something I've read about in terms of, being a male on the ascension journey, is I really started going through these deep processes of surrender, and it was almost biological and mental and emotional, and all those habit patterns that I had that were taught to me by society and school and parents and teachers of this is what you should do and this is how you should do it. They really started to clash with this feeling in my heart, and so I really had to surrender a lot of those patterns and conditionings. So I started to find out that nature was what was speaking to me, and that actually took a long time to figure out, because I got really caught up in Eastern spirituality for a long time, a lot of philosophy. But eventually I figured out that it really was just the same as what it was when I was a little kid. I would go out into the woods and I would see the breeze and the presence in plants and life, and started doing a lot of gardening and things like that. And so through various processes of meditation and yoga and eating a lot of organic food, and growing it, and living out in the woods, and giving away my car, and just biking everywhere, I started to feel like I was more and more in alignment with nature, and less connected to kind of all those things that I had been taught. And it was really challenging, actually. It really felt, and maybe this is part of being a male or something, but there's this tendency, as a man to be in control, and to be really strong, and to take care of everything, and I found that I really had to let go of that. And eventually I was able to sense more of kind of the universal will, and the more and more I let go of myself and my kind of firm discipline, I was all into track and all this other stuff, the more I was able to let go of that, the more I was able to sense this other presence and the kind of universal spirit that lives in the trees and lives in the birds and lives in me. And so that was what my process really was. It was a process of kind of realizing that there was something else that was a part of me that I could listen to with meditation, and that nature was a really good way to get in touch with that. So yeah, and so it's gotten a lot easier now. It was really hectic and really confusing for a while, and eventually I would just follow the signs and symbols, and I eventually realized that life was like in communication with me like all the time. In every now moment, it was speaking to me, and so I learned how to listen, and listening through dreams, through meditation, through seeing life experiences come to me, and interpreting them. So it was challenging, and it was challenging to let go, and it was challenging to figure out what was happening, because I felt like I was letting go of a lot of what I knew, and nobody really understood what I was doing, so I kind of looked a little foolish, but eventually I found the people after enough time of like searching and reading, and I eventually found the people that also knew what I was talking about, and were able to point me to some better books. Some of the books just came to me. I would walk into a bookshop, and there it would be on the shelf, and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, this is the book I'm supposed to read." So now things are pretty good, and I'm actually found a school that has to do with connecting with nature and getting closer to nature. A lot of it is through growing food and understanding herbal medicines. And where I live in the Pacific Northwest, there's just tons of wild, like Devil's Club, and even just like dandelion that grows out in your yard. It's like all of these herbs like Oregon grape and yarrow. They're really interesting, and they're very healing, and it's amazing because it's totally my belief that Gaia is waking up. It's not very healthy what humanity is doing to her, and so she's waking up, and the more that I eat organic food and spend time out in nature, and continue to learn about these different plants that grow around here, the more I feel connected to kind of the whole. So all of life, the plants, the trees, the water, the sun, the people, the animals, it's all got this life force moving through it, and it's this whole. So that's really, really nice. I feel like I have a lot more guidance because I've learned how to listen and pay attention to that, and it feels really good. Yeah, and so I just want to emphasize that there are a lot of men out there that are very heart-centered and are on this journey, and I'm lucky to be friends with several of them, and it feels really good to know them. It's also really challenging to be a male in this patriarchal society, and also felt like there was some really deep roots just in my ancestral, or in my biology, that had to be uprooted. I was always kind of a sensitive person, but I still had some pretty deep things that had to get cleansed. So it is challenging, and if there's anything I can emphasize, it's just that that state of surrender and really letting go, because when you are able to let go and take time and listen and sense and pay attention and kind of remove yourself from the equation, just be more open to the flow of life. That's when the wisdom really comes in, because then the Spirit is speaking to you, and it's a lot easier to know what to do instead of trying to be the person that knows what's going on. So really learned some good lessons about surrender and humility, and and now things are working out pretty well, and I've had the time to heal from all of that confusion when I was like, what's going on? What's happening? And now there's such a resource network. So I'm really appreciative to you, Polona, for everything you're doing, and to everybody else out there that's evolving, because we really need it. So that's all I have to say, and wishing everybody well. We do exist. Men and women and everybody on this path. So it's great to be together and do it together. So much love and thanks.